In Australia, we have regulatory bodies impeding what we can and can't address our people with. The aim for journalists as a whole should be the pursuit of truth, the valuing of objectivity, the principles of fairness, and the practice of accuracy. But somewhere along the process, lines get crossed and the information is hindered, sometimes told falsely or not at all. An unknown concept to some Australians is how and why we are being watched, or to what extent. An ever-changing catalyst in modern society is the relationship between privacy and technology. With governments doing their job by protecting their citizens, where do we draw a line between knowing what the people are doing and an invasion of privacy? We know it is our right to be protected by federal bodies in our countries. We want governments sourcing out the bad people and keeping a closer eye on them. But how do we know they aren't spying on innocent people until they are proven or not proven guilty? This is the issue we are faced with today, especially when new, innovative technology is continually expanding and introduced. Today, I am going to address the ethical and legal issues in surveillance and journalism. I will be focusing on security in Australia through our relevant laws and privacy acts. I will present this by revealing case studies on the local and on a global scale, using Sky-Fi and relevant whistleblowers to demonstrate the battle between national security and an invasion of privacy. Laws and Privacy Acts. In Australia, we are being watched and monitored. From our telephone to our internet, our banking, transport, domestic and international travel movements, government services, etc. The Government of Australia has a good idea of what we are up to. Don't be alarmed, this is just as good a thing as it is bad. But why does that mean all the innocent people are subject to limited privacy? There are many government offices and legal codes which restrict a journalist's freedom to operate, but there are also frameworks set in place to allow a journalist to reveal the truth. Journalists can contact and deal with specific information, laws and policies which usually are inhibited to public and will help to provide clearer facts. To name two important ones, we have the Office of Australian Information Commission and also the Australian Security Intelligence Organisation. Both organisations regulate documents to do with governing ministers and bodies. ASIO's main role is to gather information and produce intelligence that will enable it to warn the government about activities or situations that might endanger Australia's national security. In recent months, both these governing offices have been put in the headlines due to metadata laws, data retention laws, and also anti-terrorism battles, including leaked information through WikiLeaks. We as citizens hold the right to know how much information is provided to these bodies and how much they can use against us. Looking at ethical issues of local surveillance, I bring to your attention Sky-Fi. Sky-Fi is a Wi-Fi service available in new Westfields across Australia. Their objective is to allow customers to stay connected when in a centre. Not only does it allow shoppers to stay connected, they can also be tracked and targeted for marketing and surveillance purposes. This is where we see a fine line crossed. Marketers are guilty of knowing a lot of information about innocent people. They have access under your permission to know where you shop, what you purchase, and why. Loyalty emails go one step further by asking you to nominate your favourite products in already allocated favourite shops. Furthermore, they can target you specifically in banner adverts on your internet searches to lure you in. All this amounts to a lot of data collection of your identity and your location. This reiterates the fine line between freedom and an invasion of privacy. Just because you want to use the free Wi-Fi doesn't mean you want companies to track your every move and know what you buy. To view another perspective of the company, a stakeholder of Sky-Fi, their marketing director, will speak to you on behalf of the company.
In advertising, and we have developed what we believe to be the world's first media and analytics platform specifically dedicated to Wi-Fi. And the technology has the capability to track and analyze any Wi-Fi enabled device that comes into contact with the network. So what does that mean? It means we get to track and actually visualize custom movement patterns in and around our networks. We have a strong foothold in the retail space particularly, and the data we represent things like traffic movement patterns, footfall count, unique repeat footfall, dwell time. We can do heat mapping, and lots of other cool presence analytics data that we can visualize. The platform is built in a way that we actually can also then help retailers action the data that we represent by calling on the database to push relevant content to individuals' mobile devices in a contextual way.
In an attempt to reveal this kind of invasion of privacy on a global scale, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, Glenn Greenwald and other whistleblowers tried to help the citizens understand what is being kept from them and who is to blame for this. Snowden and the likes are breaching the American National Security Agency. In Australia, they are violating the National Security Legislation Amendment Bill, which results in being liable to 5 years imprisonment for anyone who discloses information without authorization about special intelligence operations. The only problem with whistleblowers is the fact that there is a vast difference in what is private and what is public across different cultures. Moeller and Holterlein discuss this in their paper, Privacy Issues in Public Discourse, the case of smart CCTV in Germany. They identify the common knowledge that privacy is now a controversial political, thematic and conceptually difficult topic to understand. In saying that, Australia just passed new data retention laws which allows telephone and internet companies to retain Australians' telephone and internet data for a period of 2 years. More than 20 government agencies, including ASIO, the AFP, state police forces, ASIC and consumer watchdog the ACCC will be able to authorise access to the information. Snowden addressed Progress 2015 in Melbourne by saying the federal government's data retention laws passed in March breach the privacy of Australians. This is dangerous, he said. This is not things that governments have ever traditionally been empowered to claim for themselves as authorities. What this means is they are watching everybody all the time, he said. Ethical practice in the surveillance and security of Australia is a difficult balancing act between national security and privacy. With the government's important duty to protect and watch out for threats, we must find the correct balance to ensure privacy is still available to innocent until proven guilty citizens. As a journalist, we must use all available resources in the pursuit for truth, including the use of freedom of information. Regardless if on a local or global scale, the need to be aware is paramount in order to be careful on what information we reveal through the internet or over telephones. Perhaps it's best we go back in time, use the old carrier pigeons again, or deliver our messages in person.